Eddie, we're now just 1 week away from Eubank Ben to the rematch. How are the nerves before?
Yeah, no nerves. Just excited. I want it to be Saturday, November the 15th now. Really confident. I mean, confident from everything that I've seen from Conor Benn in this camp, not just physically as well, but emotionally, talking to him, seeing Eubank, listening to a couple of the comments as well. I think we're fantastically poised to win this rematch. Not going to be easy. Eubank's shown his toughness. You know, he's a true competitor, and he's much bigger. But we'll be smarter this time. We'll still be spiteful. We'll still be violent, but we'll be better. And I think the younger man will prevail on November the 15th in another war.
You were in training camp with Conor just over a week ago. How was he looking?
Conor always looks great in camp. I mean, you know, he really does leave no stone unturned. Probably one of the hardest workers I've ever seen since I've worked in boxing. But I think the emotion is different this time. You know, first time, obviously, he was dealing with a lot of stuff around getting himself back in the ring. He was out of the ring for over a year, I think nearly a year and a half. And I just think the occasion, the moment, the build-up, everything just got to him for what was a very entertaining fight, but even by his own admissions, quite a poor performance. And he's going to be a lot better this time. We expect even maybe a better Eubank. Physically, I think there's going to be some dents in the armoury of Chris Eubank after that last fight. I think it took a lot out of him, and he is old in what he calls a young man's sport. So it's going to be interesting to see. But Conor Benn is dialed in, focused to execute a fantastic performance at Tottenham next week.
You say you expect a different Conor. Have you noticed anything different in the way he trains, the way he is?
Just the way he's talking. I think he's much calmer. I think he's matured as well. And I think everything that he's been through, you know, can make you a lot more resilient, can make you stronger, can make you unbreakable. And I think he just feels like it's his time. I think going into that fight, there are a lot of question marks that he was asking himself about the activity, maybe about his emotion going into the fight, about the weight as well. Looks much bigger now, looks much more solid and sturdy at middleweight. There's still going to be a big size advantage to Chris Eubank Jr. But, you know, I think this time the work will be much smarter from Conor Benn.
Both men have seemingly somewhat locked themselves away a little bit for this training camp. Does that show the magnitude and what's at stake in this one?
Yeah, I think both guys knew how tough that first fight was. And, you know, I think probably Eubank didn't realise how tough the fight would be. So I expect him to train a little bit harder this time. You know, I don't think physically his body is the same as it once was in his younger days. And I don't know what new tricks he's going to learn at this stage in his career, but he is tough and he is resilient and he does have a lot of pride and he's incredibly stubborn. So it's not going to be easy. But like I said, Conor Benn can be much better than last time, and he will be.
Conor's insistent that he's going to go out there and stick it straight on him in this fight, but surely he needs to be a bit smart this time around. What do you think he needs to do differently?
Yeah, Conor's a Benn, you know, and you can talk about boxing and being smart, but he's violent and he's ferocious. And that's what makes him what he is. That's what made his dad what he is. And you're never going to take that away from a Benn. But you can do it with smart work. You can do it in a more compact and complete way. You can execute the game plan better, and he will do all of those things, but it will come with the same tenacity and violence, and he will bring that, and he'll be punching hard, fast, and sharp on November the 15th.
In Conor's own words, composure and emotion played a big part in that first fight. How do you think he handled it differently this time?
Last time there was no composure. It was all emotion. I mean, listen, it gave the 70,000 and the millions watching around the world just one of the greatest fights we've seen. But, you know, I think the corner, his dad, everyone will be thinking, what are you doing? But we know he's got heart. We know he's got bottle. We know he's got balls. But he's also much better than that. He's a better boxer than Chris Eubank Jr. as well.
One difference for this fight, Bomac will be in Chris Eubank's corner and not Jonathan Banks. What do you make of that decision?
But Bomac's a great trainer. You know, I mean, he's got a tremendous stable of fighters. Of course, Terence Crawford, the cream of the crop there. What is he going to add technically to Chris Eubank Jr. at this stage? I think what he would have added is probably a greater intensity in his training. I think Eubank doesn't like to listen to people. I think he does his own thing. But I think probably he's remembering how tough that fight was for him. and wanted to take it even more seriously this time around. And Beaumank's going to get the best out of you. I don't think technically it will be enough, but I think he might be fitter. I think he's trained harder, but I don't know. The old adage of teaching an old dog new tricks is a classic.
I think when we talk about the occasion and the scale of everything for Conor Benn, I think people forget that it's Conor's first really big, it's his first really big fight, isn't it? Eubank's been in with Gale, Groves, Smith. Will having that first big fight experience for him, it would be something under it.
That was always a worry going into that first fight, was the occasion. I think he dealt with it well, but, he still fought off emotion and pride and probably anger as well. And this time he'll be a lot more composed in the changing room. The changing room will be the same. The ring walk will be the same. When he looks around, he's seen it before. This time we just got to be more switched on and more focused.
The first fight was so good. Do you think there's one can top it?
I think this fight, these two could fight 100 times. Everyone will be a classic because it means too much. And it means so much. And obviously this time around for Conor Benn, it couldn't mean more. I mean, he has to win this fight for redemption. If this is Eubank Benn 4, and the Benns are yet to pick up a victory. And this could be the last chance.
Tactically, we talk about Conor and what he needs to do, but how do you think Eubank Jr. will play this time around?
I don't know. I mean, look, I don't think Eubank's very good as a boxer. One thing he's always been is he's tough. He's not as tough as he once was because he's older. He's made his money. But he's very stubborn, and he was very tough last time because there was a huge amount on the line. And I think whatever happens, he'll stay tough in this fight. Maybe they'll pull him out of the fight. There's a lot of people around him that he said want him to retire. They know how tough it was last time. They know what happened after the fight. Maybe he's too brave for his own good and he's taken out of the fight. It wouldn't surprise me either.
What happens to Conor's career if he wins this fight?
Oh, I mean, look, this has been a great period for Conor Benn. Obviously, financially, he secured himself for life. But we have aspirations for him to become a world champion. What it's done is the profile that it's given him has been incredible. We know he's a massive draw, one of the biggest draws in British boxing because he's so exciting. He got a huge amount of respect last time out for the guts and heart that he showed. And this has been a great springboard to what's next. And what's next for Conor Benn is the World Championship, but we have to win next Saturday.
Talk about that road to the World Championship. Has a trilogy been discussed at all for this?
There's no trilogy within the contract. Look, when Conor Benn wins, of course, there'll be cries for the third, but we also have aspirations for Conor Benn to become world champion like his father. The move back down to welterweight will be tough because you'll see this week physically, he's different this time around at 160. So there's a lot of weight to strip off to get back to that championship limit. And maybe it's 54 next time around. But we shall see. But, for Conor Benn, we're not looking at the trilogy. We're looking at getting the job done on November 15th and then becoming world champion.
There was so much in the build-up to the last fight and even continuing on for the press conference for this one. Are you expecting much shenanigans next week in terms of the build-up?
Yeah, I mean, listen, always from Eubank because, he seems more interested in me than Conor Benn, which is flattering. But I think he should focus on Conor Benn because he's going to have his hands full. And, there's been a lot of back and forth. I'm sure many find it entertaining. There's been some things that have been said that I think are not on, and they will be dealt with. But listen, it's the fight game. It's the build-up. I'm sure this week will be thrilling, but what will really be thrilling is inside those ropes on November 15th at a packed Tottenham Hotspur Stadium live on DAZN.
And just finally, Eddie, if you can predict the outcome of this fight, how it goes, what's your prediction?
I predict that Eubank will not come out for the 11th or 12th round at Tottenham Hotspur and Conor Benn will win by late stoppage.
Thanks, Eddie. All the best.